There is a town in Canada where the property tax on a $300,000 house is $600 annually. Not $6,000, $600. The same house in Toronto costs $8,000 in property tax. The difference is $7,400 every year. Over 30 years, that is $222,000. This is not a mistake. This is not a temporary program. This is permanent municipal tax structure in towns where resource revenue funds operations, oil and gas royalties, mining revenue. Industrial tax bases so large that residential property tax becomes minimal or nearly eliminated. We ranked 7 towns where residential property tax is measurably lower than Canadian averages on 4 criteria: effective annual tax on a $300,000 property, savings relative to a comparable Canadian city, housing affordability, and economic stability of the industrial base funding the low rate. The town at number 1 delivers the largest savings. Every town on this list comes with a catch. Number 7. Swan Hills, Alberta. Swan Hills sits in northwestern Alberta. Population 1,200. Oil and gas industrial assessment funds municipal operations entirely. The residential mill rate is approximately 3.5 mills. A $300,000 home pays roughly $1,050 annually in municipal property tax. Xplornet satellite internet serves Swan Hills. Speeds are limited. Average house price, $185,000. Compared to Edmonton, where a similar home pays approximately $3,000 in municipal property tax. Swan Hills saves $1,950 annually. Over 30 years, that is $58,000. Why the tax is low? Oil and gas industrial assessment provides a massive tax base relative to the small residential population. Industrial revenue funds all municipal services. Residential tax is supplemental. Why it ranks 7th? The savings are real, but the smallest on this list in absolute terms. Population of 1,200 with minimal services and extreme remoteness means the lifestyle trade-off is the steepest here relative to what you save. Number 6. Fox Creek, Alberta. Fox Creek sits in northwestern Alberta. Population 1,900. Oil and gas service hub. The mill rate is approximately 4 mills. A $300,000 home pays roughly $1,200 annually. TELUS DSL serves Fox Creek. Speeds are limited. Average house price, $215,000. Compare to Calgary, where a similar home pays approximately $3,500. Fox Creek saves $2,300 annually. Over 30 years, that is $69,000. Why the tax is low? Industrial oil and gas assessment is enormous relative to the residential base. Extensive industrial operations fund a town of under 2,000 residents. Why it ranks 6th? The savings are meaningful, but the economic dependence is total. Fox Creek has no diversification whatsoever. When oil prices collapse, the town empties. The boom-bust cycle here is more extreme than anywhere else on this list. Number 5. Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. Tumbler Ridge sits in northeastern British Columbia. Population 2,300, built for coal mining. The mill rate is approximately 5 mills. A $300,000 home pays roughly $1,500 annually. TELUS DSL available. Average house price, $185,000, tied for the lowest on this list. Compare to Vancouver, where a similar home pays approximately $4,500 in municipal property tax. Tumbler Ridge saves $3,000 annually. Over 30 years, that is $90,000. Why the tax is low? Coal mining industrial assessment funds the municipal budget while keeping residential tax minimal. Why it ranks 5th? The $90,000 lifetime saving is significant. But Tumbler Ridge is coal-dependent in an industry facing long-term structural decline. The low tax exists as long as the mines operate. That is not guaranteed. Number 4. Wood Buffalo Rural Area, Alberta. Wood Buffalo Municipality covers a region the size of Ireland, including Fort McMurray and the surrounding rural areas. Rural properties outside the urban core operate under a different tax structure. The rural residential mill rate is approximately 3 mills. A $300,000 rural property pays roughly $900 annually. TELUS and Shaw serve rural Wood Buffalo. Broadband available. Average rural property price, $325,000. The oil sands industrial assessment is so massive it funds the entire regional municipality. Rural residents receive regional services while paying a tax bill that is essentially symbolic. Why it ranks fourth. $900 annually on a $300,000 property is among the lowest effective rates in Canada. But rural Wood Buffalo means acreage living in an oil sands region, limited services, real isolation, and full economic dependence on petroleum. Number 3. Lloydminster, Alberta, Saskatchewan. Lloydminster straddles the Alberta-Saskatchewan border. Population around 36,000. The Alberta side carries a residential mill rate of approximately 6 mills. A $300,000 home on the Alberta side pays roughly $1,800 annually. Shaw Fibre serves Lloydminster. Broadband available. Average house price, $285,000. The Alberta advantage here is double. No provincial sales tax on purchases combined with low property tax from oil and gas industrial assessment. Compared to Edmonton at $3,000 in municipal property tax, Lloydminster saves $1,200 annually on property tax alone, plus the ongoing sales tax advantage on every purchase. Why it ranks third. The combined savings from property tax and no provincial sales tax make the total financial advantage larger than the property tax figure alone suggests. A city of 36,000 also provides more services and stability than the smaller towns below it on this list. Why it ranks third and not higher. The mill rate is higher than Fort McMurray or Wood Buffalo. The savings are real, but the rate is not the most dramatic on this list. Number 2. Grande Prairie, Alberta. Grande Prairie sits in northwestern Alberta. Population around 70,000. Oil and gas hub with a mill rate of approximately 7 mills. A $300,000 home pays roughly $2,100 annually. Shaw Fibre serves Grande Prairie. Gigabit available, the strongest internet on this list outside Fort McMurray. Average house price, $385,000. Compared to Edmonton at $3,000 or Calgary at $3,500. Grande Prairie saves $900 to $1,400 annually. Over 30 years, that is $27,000 to $42,000. Why it ranks second. Grande Prairie is a functioning city of 70,000 with full services, amenities, and an economy diversified enough to absorb oil price fluctuations better than smaller towns. The tax savings here come with the least severe lifestyle trade-off on this list. You are living in a real city, not an oil patch outpost. Why it ranks second and not first. The mill rate is the highest on this list, and the lifetime savings, while real, are the most modest in absolute dollar terms. Number 1. Fort McMurray, Alberta. Fort McMurray sits in northeastern Alberta. Population around 80,000. The oil sands capital. The residential mill rate is approximately 2.75 mills, the lowest on this list. A $300,000 home pays roughly $825 annually. Shaw and TELUS Fibre serve Fort McMurray. Gigabit available. Average house price, $485,000. Compared to Toronto, where a $485,000 home pays approximately $7,500 in property tax, Fort McMurray saves $6,700 annually. Over 30 years, that is $201,000, enough to buy another property outright. Why the tax is so low? Syncrude, Suncor, and the other oil sands operators pay industrial property tax on a scale that makes residential tax almost irrelevant to the municipal budget. $825 annually is a token payment relative to the services received. Why it ranks first? The lowest mill rate, the largest absolute savings, and a city large enough to have real services and infrastructure. No other town on this list combines this level of tax reduction with a population of 80,000 and gigabit internet. The honest consideration? Fort McMurray is Fort McMurray. The economy is entirely petroleum-based. The 2016 wildfire demonstrated the town's physical vulnerability. The boom-bust cycles are extreme and well-documented. The isolation is real. The environmental concerns surrounding oil sands operations are legitimate and ongoing. The $200,000 lifetime saving is real, and so is everything else about living here. Conclusion: 7 towns. Swan Hills to Fort McMurray. Each with property tax dramatically lower than Canadian norms. Each funded by industrial assessment that makes residential tax supplemental rather than foundational. The savings are real, thousands annually, hundreds of thousands over a home ownership lifetime. The financial advantage is measurable. The catches are equally real. Every town on this list is resource dependent. The economies are volatile. The populations fluctuate with commodity prices. The remoteness is genuine. The question is not whether the savings are real. They are. The question is what you are willing to accept to keep them. Your move.